Alright, what's up everybody? So, a while ago in one of the other videos I made the comment about it. I don't know if anybody picked up on it, but the John Deere 550 dozer here, we've had some issues with it or whatever on the steering and whatnot, and I think I fixed that. I didn't get a video of any of that stuff. There's a line down inside the housing there that disengages the clutch on it for the steering, and it had a big hole in it. Well, we fixed all that, had to take the seat and all that crap off, did all that, put new fluid in it because it needed it and whatnot, and now it's acting like it don't want to move at all, or it's acting really funny. And so when I had it apart, I should have cleaned the pre-screen on the lift pump for the transmission, and I didn't. So it's back here in the shop. We're gonna do that. We're gonna change some hoses and stuff. We'll have to redo, we're gonna have to redo all the fluids and stuff because I gotta drain all that to do it, and whatnot. I don't really know 100% what I'm doing. You really can't really see in there, but that cover right there needs to come off, and there's a pre-screen in there for the lift pump on the transmission. And I am praying that's all that's wrong with this thing. And I got low pressure on the pump, so I'm hoping that's what it is. We're gonna have to check some other pressures and stuff. But right now we're just gonna take it and unbolt everything, drain the fluid in it again. It holds, I think we put about 13 gallons in it last time. We're gonna take all that apart, drain it, and put it back together. So yeah, we'll see where we're gonna get with this, and hopefully it's a simple fix, and we'll do some maintenance stuff on it. And because I really need this machine, and actually it is December 18th apparently right now. I could use the machine still for some stuff, and I just want to get it going, that way when we do get good weather we can use it and not have to sit around and not be able to get to it. So yeah, here we go. All right, everybody. So I finally got this stupid thing out. I was struggling with it. So it goes in there basically like this. It sits inside the thing, and in the video you're looking at it like this right here. And there's a suction tube. This tube goes to the transmission or the lift pump, and you have to pop that off that tube. Well, it's been in there a long time, and so yeah, it was not fun getting off. So quite true, I've never done this before, and there's nothing out there that says anything but on how to do it other than a book. Well, if you can see that does not look good. So maybe this is our problem. It's just not getting good suction out of it, is what I'm hoping. So I gotta find out. I'd like to just replace it because it does not look like that comes out of this housing. It's like it's one piece, so that's cool. So yeah, I gotta do a little research here. I'm gonna try to clean it, but do a little more research on it here, and figure that out. And if you want, I got a mess going on in here for sure. And you can see, oops, you can see down in here that that's where that tube goes, is right there. And then it just pulls from the bottom of everything. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try to clean that and take care of that, and I'll get back to you here and see where we're at. Hopefully that's all it is, because I really don't want to pull transmission out of this thing. So if we do, you'll be there to watch it. So we'll see you guys then. Okay, take two. I talked to myself the whole time and it didn't record any of it, I guess. So what we're doing is we drain the hydraulic tank for the blade controls and all that. This line right here is the feed line from it to this pump right here. So we got to pull this line off, unfortunately, to pull this pump cover right here, so we can pull the pump that's in here pumps fluid for the transmission. So we got to pull this cover to pull that out. But we got to remove this line to get this cover out, obviously. So yeah, let's make a mess and try not to get covered in it. I'm cutting bolts into the housing and push the housing off of, or the plate here, I should say, it's housing. Push the pump out of the housing, there we go. All right, we got this pump out. What a chore that was. So what we were doing is we took a bolt, just like this, and you screw it in here and here. These ones are, this is where the bolt goes to hold the pump in, okay? Pull the bolt out, screw it in here, and they push out on the other end here. They go through that hole and they push out. Well, they push this housing. They push the pump out of the housing because this is a press fit in there, okay? So, yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. You literally have to push this thing out until about here. This whole thing you have to physically push it out with them out to about here. So you do this, you need a longer bolt. The book says 6-inch bolt, which yeah, they're right, you need them. Which is hard. I couldn't go to the store and just buy one easy, so I did it the hard way and just kept sticking things in there and pushing on it little by little. 6-inch bolt would be a lot better. Anyways, so we got this apart. So how this works is it sets in the transmission. You got your main drive gear torque converter, and that spins this, and fluid comes in one end, gets pressurized, goes to the transmission, and then the transmission repressurizes it, I believe, at the transmission too. This is just a low pressure pump. It's not real high. As you can see in here, it is just a gear pump inside. I think you can see that. Let's go to the biggers. This is the inlet over here, I believe. You can just see it's just a gear, a couple gears. It's just like this drive gear up here, just longer. I looked at it. It all looks pretty good inside here. It don't look real wore or anything. About the only thing I don't like is if you hold the gears, this has a little bit of slop in it in the shaft here. And it makes a little bit of noise, but that's, yeah, it can do. I mean, it's a 1970s machine. This is your pressure relief valve here. I'm not going to take this apart. I don't want to. I just wanted to take it out, inspect it, clean everything, and make sure it was good. We got to get some stuff, some sealant and everything. According to the book, we got to have some special Loctite that goes around the inlet and outlet. And you got to slide it, press it back in, of course, and whatnot. So we got to do all that. I still got to go down underneath and clean the where this came out of and the gasket. I did clean this up. I did put this in the parts washer and clean it up. All this looks pretty good, but the big thing is this filter screen here. You can see this filter screen, this screen. So there's a pipe that hooks to this that runs over, and that's what's feeding the pump here, okay? This is your pre-screen for this pump. I do not like this, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the end of this off. We're gonna cut this around, pull this off so we can get to this actual screen and clean the stupid thing, because I can't replace this. This is obsolete. If I could have bought one, it used to be $400 for this little thing. Now, it's not little, but you know, there's a lot here really. So it's $400 if you could get one. I've looked online, I can't find one. So I think what we're gonna do is, not that I want to, but we'll cut this off right here. We're not gonna cut it all the way through, we'll cut around it to just pull the sleeve off, because I don't want to cut through that obviously. Clean that up, do whatever, we'll put this back on and I'll weld it back on. So then we can put this back in there. So yeah, here we go. Alright, I got that off finally. So what I had to do is cut both ends, then slice it in the center here. I don't want to cut it all the way down, less welding. I'm way farther than I want to do. But if you can see it or not, but it's extremely dirty. It's very bad. So I don't know what's on it, but I don't know. So now we can clean it. It's almost, maybe it's clutch material, I'm not sure, but it's all just nasty is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and clean that up, then we'll have to get the welder out and weld all that back in, and go from there. So there we go. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. You can actually see through it now. Couldn't do that before. There's a little bit on the ends here, but I mean, it's there. It's really not going anywhere, as I'm gonna say. So we'll put that sleeve back on. I would leave it the way it is, but I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I would rather just put it back together. We'll weld it back up and call it a day. been a few days since the last video. I think we left off on welding this up. I got it welded up. This side welded easy because it was nice and tight. This side wasn't obviously as easy because there was a big gap between cutting it off with the cutoff wheel. There's braze on the end of this. I screwed up when I cut this. There's braze on the end of this, and you can't weld to that braze or whatever. So it's fine. It's together. It ain't gonna go anywheres. Screen's as clean as we can get it. So this piece is ready to go back in. We still got to clean underneath the dozer. The pump is ready. I got the gasket from John Deere for this. This was a little harder to get, but we were able to get it. We got so the book calls for I can't think of the name of it, but it's a special sealant, and it goes on really thin around here and the suction and inlet outlet end of it there. So you gotta put that on, and then we gotta press this in. We got some threaded rod to screw in there so we can pull that all the way in. So yeah, we gotta do that. I got some new hose clamps for the return line. If you can see, there's this line right here is for the hydraulic pump for the blade and stuff. There's another spot here that I'm going to replace. You can see the hose up in there. It's right up in there. We might as well just replace them. We don't have any fluid in the machine. You're just better off to do it now. Which, that being said, so a while ago, like I said in the beginning, there is a line inside the housing here that we had replaced. Well, I couldn't do this side because I had to drain everything. Well, it's drained. We might as well fix it. Or at least get in there, replace that line. Whether or not it's bad or not, might as well just do it. You can't see it. I did a borescope or whatever to look down in there. You can see the line, but you can't see it well enough to know what's really going on. So we got to pull the tank, the seat back out of it, and then the controls. We got all the lines coming to the controls. We got to pull that possibly. I might just try to lift this up with the roll bars so I don't have to completely unhook all that. And then this big plate right here comes out, and we can get down in there and replace that line. So we're gonna go ahead and do that as well. We're gonna pull the nose cap off. I want to get all the dirt and stuff out of there. Just go through and clean it real good. And just, we're here, we might as well get it done. So yeah, here we go. All right, so I got all the side panels off, everything. All the side panels are there. We took the back panel out right here. And then what I did was I wrapped a strap, ran them up, like I said, just like so, and then I pulled it up. As you can see, there's a decent gap in there. And we got to get this whole thing. This is one big casting in here, a bunch of bolts in here we got to take out. The only hard part is this one right here, because that's actually threaded into the base here, and it just has a nut that goes on top of it. So I got to unthread that, pull the bolts, and then this whole bracket will actually come out of here for us. We do got to fish this line out of this hole, so I want to pull this whole thing right out. It's the easiest thing to do. So yeah, here we go. There we go. Alright, there we go. I had to use forklift to pry that out of there, and I did loosen up a couple bolts on the other side. Just made it easier. So now we can pull the rest of these. Alright, now we can pull this plate out, I guess. There we go. Trying to dump any dirt. I blew this off, but man, this thing's heavy. Alright. A lot of work just to take that out. But we're here, we might as well do it. I'll show you guys down in here. Sorry about my sniffling. I live with almost a 3-year-old, so really sick. There is that hose. If you guys can see that. So that's the hose that we were going after right here. So what that does is this, it pressurizes, so when you pull on the lever, it pressurizes this. It sends low hydraulic fluid pressure to it, opens it up, and then that will disengage this track. The same thing on the other side. These are your brake bands right here. And yeah, so that's how this works. So this shaft down here just stays spinning the whole time, a direct drive from the machine. And then this just disengages it. They went to hydraulic instead of a manual manual disengagement like the older stuff. And then obviously they went away from this completely, this design. But this is for your brake band and everything. And then your adjuster. So if you ever have one of these machines, it covers more than just this, quite a few of them. There's this plug right here. And so this plug you can open up, and this is your adjustment for your brake tension on your lever. Now you need to read the book to make sure you do it properly, but this is how this is. You reach in there and you, with a screwdriver or pry bar, and you can click that gear, and that will tighten up this on that band, so then it'll grab that band better and steer it better. Now, somehow it's supposed to be an auto adjusting whatever. There's another video on that just briefly, and it does not seem to work. I couldn't figure it out either. So this is the easiest way to do it. Just reach in there, click it a couple times, and try it. Now, the only problem with that is if the band's bad and the clutch or the brake material's gone, then you're pretty much screwed at that point. You're gonna have to take it apart. Now, you should have to just do it like this. I think you can take this all apart out of this housing right here. You don't have to take like the final drive and all that stuff off, I don't believe. I really don't want to find out. But now I'm thinking about it, that screen was all plugged up, and I bet it's this brake material right here is what it is. This stuff down in here would make more sense because it's flammable too. When I was cleaning that thing, it was really flammable. I bet it's that. So mystery solved on what was clogging that filter up, because it wasn't just whatever. It wasn't so it wasn't just random whatever in there. That would make sense that them bands in there is what's causing that to plug up over time. Doesn't mean the band's bad necessarily. I'm gonna say, but it wears. That stuff's gonna wear. It's designed to. Now it is submerged in hydraulic. All that's got fluid in it when it's all together, or it's halfway up it, I should say, roughly. But that would make sense to why that screen is plugged over 30 years probably, I'm gonna say at least. So yeah, well, we're gonna get this line off. All right, so as you see, we got this out. One second, sorry. So if you can see, I'm gonna go with that. It's starting to separate anyways. It's still a little flexible. It's not too bad. I'm not sure if this is original or not. I can say that. I'm gonna say it's not. See, the other one that was in the other housing, that thing was hard as a rock. You couldn't do this, okay? So this one's a little better. We'll go to the hydraulic shop, get that replaced. It is Monday the 23rd, I think. So almost before Christmas. So it'll be next week before I can get back to this. But for you guys, it'll be... All right, so got everything cleaned up down there. I'll go ahead and put this back in. Like I said, in the book it says that we gotta have some sealant around the two inlet outlet. So this is what I'm using. This is supposed to be the same as John Deere. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this on and hope for the best. Actually, this does not go on very thick. You just kind of put it on here and then spread it around with your finger. It don't take much. I've used this stuff one other time and something else, and yeah, it works pretty good. All right, let's go see if we can put this thing in. If you were wondering, this thing isn't the most lightest thing in the world. It's not the heaviest, but it sure the heck ain't the lightest. Come on, give it back. So we got to make sure that gear lines up with the bull gear on the transmission. It's all right. Ugh. Note to self, wash machine before working on. Oh yeah, it was freaking 16 degrees out. Couldn't do that. All right, so we're on to the next step. We got the pump in and stuff. Yeah, that was not fun. I ended up having to take the pump back out. I ruined the seal that I bought for it. We ended up RTV siliconing it or whatever with gasket maker for like a rear end gear oil. So what we did to do is you need to bar the motor over and to line up the gears and splines and stuff. And well, there's a tool from John Deere that sticks into the bell housing. It'll be on, let me see here, you can't really see it, but it's down in here in the bell housing area. There's a plug right here. I just pulled it out, just check it out, whatever. So there's a tool that goes in there and you can turn it over with a big ratchet. Well, I don't have that. So what we did is, this is a PTO shaft for like a winch or something like that, whatever, and that spins all the time when the motor runs. So what we did is there's a cap that actually is on that normally. Pulled the cap off and we used a pipe wrench, stick it on here and roll the motor over that way. Yes, it's not the right way to do it. Yes, I chewed up the teeth on here, but guess what? I'm never going to probably use that, and if I did, I'm not that worried about it. File, I can fix that. That's the least of my concerns there. So got the pump in. We fought that thing for over an hour easy, trying to get that on there. I don't know why it just would not go in there. So anyways, we are off to the next project. We got to get this plate in. I got the oil line back in, pressure line, whatever you want to call it. And then we replaced this line too. This is actually the feed line that feeds these two supply lines for that, is what that is. That's actually for. So we are going to go ahead and get this on. There is no actual gasket on that. It uses the same thing as the pump here, wherever the heck it went here. It uses the same stuff right here. We use it on here. It just has to be thin coat on here and it goes together and away you go. So yeah, we're gonna get this put on. Well, we're putting fluid in, so that's a good start. We got the pump and everything back together for the most part. I'm leaving a bunch of stuff apart just to make it so we can clean this thing. I want to wash it and get some more of this dirt and crap out of it. But at least we can fire it up and see what's going to happen here. And go from there. Ooh, All right, everybody, it's the next day. We went ahead and fired up the machine, as you've seen, moved it a little bit back and forth. It seemed to be okay, but time will tell. I came in this morning and there's oil on the floor. Well, so that freaked me out a little bit. I was a little worried that the pump or something like that was leaking, but fortunately, there is this clamp right here. When I put these hoses on, I forgot to tighten that back up. So what that actually did was drain the hydraulic tank instead. So the transmission seems to be holding fluid. The pumps don't seem to be leaking or anything, or the pump and the filter screen or whatever doesn't seem to be leaking. But time will tell with that as well, if it's actually gonna hold or not. But fortunately it was just that hose. It definitely was leaking out of that because I could see it, and I tightened it up. It seemed to stop. So I'm gonna call it a wrap on this one. In the next video, you will take the machine out, run it, see how it does, and then we'll go ahead and pull the nose cone off and go through some actual maintenance stuff on it instead of this other crap. So until then, we'll see you then. Thanks.